The earth was without form and void, an empty, desolate, unorganized space. That's where the story of our world begins.
Hey everyone, today we're diving into one of the most foundational stories ever told, the creation. Now this isn't just some old story about how the world was made. It's about a powerful principle. God creates magnificence out of chaos. And that principle, it applies not just to the cosmos, but to our own lives, to your life.
So here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with that vast cosmic creation, then zoom in to what it means to be made in God's image. We'll talk about the responsibilities we've been given, the sacred principle of rest, and wrap up with the incredible idea that our own creation is still a work in progress.
All right, let's jump right into part one. This absolutely breathtaking act of creation, where we see purpose and structure emerge from, well, nothing.
You know, this story is so important, so foundational, that it isn't just told once. No way. We find parallel accounts in Genesis, the Book of Moses, and the Book of Abraham. That kind of repetition really underscores just how central these truths are.
The scriptures show that creation wasn't this single instantaneous poof, it was a divine ordered process. You can kind of see the steps here. First, light and separation. Then, the formation of environments, the water, the sky, the land. After that, life appears, everything from plants to animals. And finally, the absolute pinnacle of this whole process, humanity. It's this brilliant pattern of turning chaos into organized beauty.
Okay, so that's the big picture. But now, let's zoom in and see how this grand cosmic story gets super personal, connecting directly to you and me. So the scriptures make this incredible claim about us. But what does it really mean to be created in God's image and likeness? I mean, really think about that for a second before we dig into the source text.
And here it is, the verse that changes everything. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. This single sentence establishes a divine heritage for every single one of us, male and female, right from the very beginning.
And look, this isn't just some abstract theological idea. Understanding this truth, it changes everything. It completely changes how you see yourself, not as flawed or random, but as a child of God. It changes how you see others with so much more respect and empathy. It teaches you that your body is sacred, a magnificent creation. And most incredible of all, it means you have the potential to become like God. Wow!
But here's the thing. With this amazing divine heritage comes some pretty big responsibility. We weren't just created and then, left to our own devices. We were given a sacred trust.
And the scriptures have a word for this trust: stewardship. What's a steward? Well, it's someone who's entrusted to manage something important for someone else. And in this case, we are the stewards over God's magnificent creations.
So, what's our first big job? It's taking care of the planet itself. The scriptures use the phrase, have dominion over, which really means to care for, to nurture, and to wisely use the earth and all its life. It's a divine mandate to be caretakers, not just takers, a call to environmental responsibility that was issued right at the start.
The second core principle we see right there in the creation account is the sanctity of marriage. The scriptures are really clear on this. Marriage between a man and a woman is an institution ordained by God himself, and it's absolutely central to his eternal plan for his children.
All right, let's look at one more principle that was set up right at the very end of the creation week. After all this unbelievable work, what did God do? Did he just move on to the next thing? Nope. He gave us the gift of rest.
God himself set the pattern. I mean, think about that. He worked and then he rested. And he didn't just stop. He blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, which basically means he set it apart as holy. He made it a sacred time for rest, for worship, for spiritual renewal, a principle he asks us to follow.
So, all of this brings us to a really powerful realization. The work of creation, it isn't just some story about the ancient past. Not at all. It's a living principle for our lives right now, because God's creative work is not finished. I mean, just think about the messages the world throws at us about our bodies, right? So often, they're valued for stuff that's super temporary, like appearance or performance. But the truth revealed in the creation, it's a completely different story, a much better one. Your body isn't an object. It is a sacred gift, a magnificent creation in the very image of God.
And really, this is the ultimate message of hope we get from the whole creation story.
Just as God brought light out of darkness and order out of chaos way back in the beginning, He can do the exact same thing for you in your life. His creative work with you is not finished. He can fill your empty or dark moments with light and life and help transform you into the divine person you were always meant to become.
So let's end with this thought. The very same God who organized entire galaxies and formed worlds, He is personally invested in your creation. So knowing that you are an unfinished, divine masterpiece in the hands of the ultimate creator, what will you allow Him to make of you?